shirt, khakis, and Valentine sunglasses out. What? All of you just got muted.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast. My name is David.
I'm Colin.
I'm Ben.
Wow. Okay.
I'm Josh.
And I'm the additional Josh.
Hey.
And the tradition continues, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast, where we're going to talk everything Mando for this episode. We got the premiere very early in the AM for me in Texas at 2 a.m. I stayed up. I watched it. I watched all the reaction.
Same.
I watched all the red carpet stuff that flowed into Twitter, and some people were actually dropping little pieces of video and a little bit of spoilerage. They aired 2 episodes for season 3 in a theater on Hollywood Boulevard, and they actually had a red carpet and they cut out the square that had Jon Favreau's star. I just posted it on Facebook. I thought that was a really nice touch. But yeah, before we get going, I definitely want to thank our patrons, our awesome patron supporters. On the purple tier, we have Chris Simpson, Kevin Leininger, Devin McCaffrey, Drew Peters, Sean Greathouse, and Zach Netzel. On the red tier, we have Finrear526, Maya Morris, Texas Vader 76, and on the black tier, we have Maka Tawatala, Nathan Shank, Evan O'Paker, and Liam McCallion. Evan and Liam were probably going to meet in London, and they're probably in the chat right now. We got a whole bunch of comments coming in. So yeah, Liam and Evan are there. So on to the episode. So first of all, I actually want to get your guys' initial thoughts. What did you guys think of the episode? I guess let's get a rating before we get underway here. Colin?
I think it goes without saying, though, just going forward. If you haven't seen the actual episode yet, go watch it. Spoilers coming your way. But for me, it was an 8 out of 10. I thought that they had a lot in the episode. They jam-packed a lot, but I think it was done in a tasteful way, and it wasn't like, whoa, this is way too much. I think they did it in a way where they definitely built up what the season is going to be like, and I think that's what's great. And they planted seeds here and there. I wasn't expecting anything to happen with IG-11, so I thought that was a happy surprise. And the beginning threw me off for sure, but yeah, I'm super, super excited, and I really enjoyed this episode. Even though it was short, I think they put a lot in there in a very tasteful way. Ben?
Yeah, I'd probably give it about a 6 out of 10. It wasn't bad by any means, but I just felt like even though there was a lot of stuff going on, there wasn't a lot of substance really. And I understand it's setting up for the season. That's fine. It did a good job of setting that up. I'm more than excited for what's going to happen next, especially with the pirates. But I just felt like a whole lot happened while a whole lot of nothing was happening, which again is fine because I know they're just setting up for the rest of the season.
For me, I'm probably going to take it maybe a 7 right now.
Okay.
It's definitely going to be the shortest of the episodes that we have as a beginning episode. In comparison to the other 2 seasons, I believe this is probably the least favorite out of the Mandalorian wise. I still liked it. There's a lot of setup to other things, of course. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what comes from this. I did like different tidbits of things, and it's great to be back in this timeline, this world, back to be with Mando, as opposed to all the other stuff that we've been seeing with Star Wars. I mean, it's this is the good part of Star Wars right now, so I'm happy to be back with it.
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree with Ben. I'd give it a 6 out of 10, just solely on the fact that I herald Mando season 1 and 2 is great episodic storytelling of having individual episodes that you could just watch. And yeah, they set up stuff, but they all kind of have their own individual stories. This one kind of felt like it was almost another Book of Boba Fett end credit scene where it's kind of just setting up all of our characters and dishing out the cards so we're ready for the season. But on the whole, it didn't have that much substance that I was content after watching the episode itself.
Interesting. I think I give it an 8 out of 10. I really liked it. I liked everything that they kind of jam-packed in that 29 minutes of actual footage that we got. So without further ado, from this point on, we're going to go full spoilers, full breakdown. I'm going to bring up the episode here and scrub through it, and we can just kind of go through it here. So, of course, we get the iconic Lucasfilm logo, and there you see my head. And we start off very kind of ominously here in a cave where we have the armor at her forge making something that I kind of thought was something maybe along the lines of like a helmet for Grogu. I thought this was maybe a ceremony bringing him officially into the clan here. And you can see that it's something flat that's about to be shapen. And of course, we find out that it's actually what appears to be a helmet that you find at a toy store with a thick visor, which was kind of surprising. I always see those helmets out there like at party shops and stuff with a really thick visor, and I've always kind of shaken my head at that because this doesn't look official. Now it's official, apparently. So, and then we lead out in a ceremony here out of the cave where that helmet was forged. We see a ton of Mandalorians, and obviously it's a ceremony. There's a boy out there in the lake, and I think it's safe to assume that most people thought maybe this was a flashback, maybe Din Djarin and his kind of progression. But we kind of find out later on that that's not the case. And I don't know if you guys know this, that kid has actually been in a lot of Disney stuff. That's actually Jimmy Kimmel's son, Wesley Kimmel.
Okay.
And yeah, he's getting to be in just about everything, I guess. He's in Marvel stuff. He's in Lucasfilm stuff now. But yeah, just seeing all these Mandalorians on the shore here, it's pretty cool to see. And there's a close-up of his face there.
I really liked seeing more of the religious aspect of their sort of sect clan. But yeah, it's I definitely thought this was a little flashback first, and I was like, nah. And then it got into like more in the episode, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. This is one of my favorite parts of the episode, of just seeing more of what their creed is about.
Yes. And I think this also shows the importance of him taking off his helmet. And we find out later, like, this, I mean, which we kind of already know, but this has the different clans of the Mandalorians divided. And I think I think by the end of the season, here's my prediction, is that I think that he'll be ready to, go back to his way of the old clan way of being a Mandalorian, where he never takes off his helmet. But then I think he'll realize, you know what, that's not true, and then we'll see him actually taking off his helmet more. That's one of my predictions, and I see that going around online too. But yeah.
So if you watch the episode, you actually get some shots of Paz Vizsla there on the shoreline, and some people are thinking that maybe that kid in the water has something of a relationship with Paz Vizsla, maybe a son,
same
maybe
color,
a cousin, nephew. Yeah, same color as well.
Paz is one of the only ones that's not in like rank and file. He's actually turned looking at the kid, especially like among the adult Mandos. So that was really interesting as well.
Yeah.
When he puts the helmet on as well, doesn't it make the same sound that Vader's helmet does when it seals?
Yes.
Yes.
I noticed that as well. I thought that was a bit interesting.
Yeah, they've been doing that this whole time. Which is there like an airlock on the Mando helmets?
Bo's does. Bo has an extra like neck piece that magically appears anytime it's on her, that it like actually goes all the way in. But not a lot of them. Like I know Armor doesn't, Din doesn't. I specifically just remember it for Bo.
Yeah. And Paz Vizsla, of course, is voiced by Jon Favreau, but played physically by Tate Fletcher, who was the bully in the bar in the very first episode of season 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, here is the official baptism, christening by the armor.
There's a lot of cool screenshots for this. Like, you could completely take this as a screenshot and then take it and put it as like background photos.
Oh yeah,
yeah, for sure. And of course, we get the huge surprise. I thought when I saw those like ripples come up, those waves, I was like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna get the mythosaur in the first episode." But no, it's this like turtle gator creature.
Average day in Florida.
I was not expecting it. I just
Me neither.
Like to me, like of just that whole scene came out of left field. I was like, oh wow, this is a very nice, quiet ceremony moment, and then all of a sudden, and they just start blasting. It's like, all right, okay, Star Wars, here we go, let's go. And how do we like the creature?
Yes, more aliens in Star Wars. I love it. It's great. More creatures. I mean, it's something. All mythosaurs are kind of dead, technically, from what we know. So I mean, it's cool to see more things that can randomly pop up. I like anything new, especially creature design.
Do we have a name for the creature yet?
I don't think so. Not one that I've seen or anyone list or anything. But yeah, you can see the background. There's a lot of kid Mandos running around as well.
I wish we'd just seen the creature actually move up onto the beach a bit more, instead of just sort of staying at the at the edge of the water. Instead of that, just coming up on the beach and really causing some havoc. I just felt like it sort of surfaced a bit and then decided, I guess I'm staying here.
Yeah, it also did the thing that a crocodile and an alligator would do, where it rolls on its back.
Yeah, the death roll.
Yep. So it's like, oh, okay. And we definitely saw a couple of them get eaten, which was sad.
It was interesting that the Mandalorians pretty much did no damage to it whatsoever. I thought that was kind of like, I don't know, off-brand a little bit for the Mandalorians.
2 episodes in a day with creatures whose armor plating can deflect blasters, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we will do that breakdown next.
Later,
yeah.
Oh, one quick side note before we get too far ahead. I also really liked the armor using a plasma cutter, cutting out the visor for the kid. That was a really neat tool to see that we haven't seen used in Star Wars before that is really prevalent in anything metalworks. So that was really fun to see.
So yeah, we get the N1 Starfighter show up that was introduced in the Book of Boba Fett, and we all kind of realize it's not a flashback, guys. It's real time, and the Mandalorian Din Djarin saves the day, even though he's not a Mandalorian anymore. So wasn't sure if anyone was.
Well, I think it was super funny because there was the shot where he kind of so it's right there. He opens up the cockpit. He is giving them a look, and even though you can't see the facial expressions, under the helmet, they're all just like, nope, want nothing to do with you.
This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back in the forge. We get the whole conversation with the armor again. That
I love her new area. I think her new area looks awesome in a cave, and I also love when they kind of turn a cave into this base type thing, because we see it through a lot through Star Wars. We saw it at Echo Base. We even see it over at Galaxy's Edge, and it's kind of a Star Wars tradition. So I love how they're kind of carrying that into into this as well, and it looks awesome. I love the set design.
We don't know exactly what planet this is, right?
No, we don't.
Yeah,
as far as I know. But if additional Josh has proven us in the past, he will start hacking, and he'll find out.
I was pull it up first, Jamie.
I was trying to find something that's later in the episode. What do I need to try and find?
Of the name of the planet.
Name of the planet. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everyone still believes that Mandalore is totally destroyed. And of course, I think our assumptions are that it's not. We're going to go back to Mandalore. We're going to see the living waters. So we get the re-explanation of Mandalore being destroyed. There you go in the caption.
Do you think that there'll be something that'll come along in the whole like hieroglyphs that will be like, yeah, you don't actually have to wear your helmet? It's pretty like I feel like there's going to be something or some point or turning point where everyone's going to be like, oh, so this is the actual way of the Mandalore. Like this is what we're actually meant to all be together, and it's actually about dropping us from being like, different sects. We're all meant to be together.
Now, are you hoping for a shot of where a bunch of them will just start taking off their helmets, and then the armor is like the last one to take her helmet off, and she's like, "Oh, okay." Because I think if they do that for Paz Vizsla, that's going to be really interesting because Jon Favreau is doing the voice. So,
and
you think we would see Jon Favreau's
his face underneath it because you got that toy that has his face.
Well, yes, but it's not him wearing the armor though in the actual show. So, do you think Jon Favreau will just start
a close-up headshot from just up here?
Well, that's what they did for Pedro in season 1.
Yeah,
to be fair.
And Vader as well.
Yeah, Vader in Return of the Jedi. So that's not out of the realm of possibility that they just have him put it on for a day of filming.
That's true.
So yeah, we got the piece of glass with the Mandalorian writing that's presented to the armor here, and then the armor thinks, well, maybe not everything was destroyed.
The way that they explained it was that from all of the from the night of where they just bombed the entire capital, the bombs kind of created a poisonous gas and it turned the ground to crystal, right? And
well, the fusion rays, she said, and we all know Sabine made a weapon for the Empire that can melt Beskar as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very Halo. Glass on the planet.
Yep.
Cool. They have not released an episode guide, so I was not able to find either the planet's name or the creature's name, both in closed captions of the show and on Wikipedia or StarWars.com. So
I feel like we'll find out within the next week or so, like in a couple of days, something like that.
Yeah, they'll probably drop it in the episode guide.
All right. This is very, very important. It was a very small scene, but this is very, very important.
I thought this scene was going like really slow. We're going to lead up to a memory, a flashback to Order 66 at this point, but we didn't get that.
So we have Grogu being like, wow, this is hyperspace. This is great. And then he just kind of looks out the window more and we see a Purgle. And we haven't seen them since Star Wars Rebels. But this is also a direct tie to Ezra and Thrawn. And yes. And I love I love how they threw that in. And I think Grogu kind of connected with them, and that's why he was like, wait, I've never done that before. And he like kind of crawled through like the vent thing in the ship, and he crawled into his lap, which that was adorable. And I just I loved that they show the Purgles. How do we like this scene? Was it like, it's kind of a throwback to Rebels, or was it more like this is important going forward?
Yeah, I think this is like the big drop like we got with season 1, season 2, when we got Baby Yoda, then we got Boba Fett reveal. I guess this was it for this season. The fact that we have that connective tissue now built in, and we're going to go forward now, and this is really happening, where we're going to lead up to the climactic event with Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew and whatever show they include. And if you look closely there, this is like a wide shot, and you can see the N1 Starfighter there right in the middle.
Yeah. I think we'll see them more live action probably in Ahsoka and maybe towards the end of the season of Mando. I think they were definitely just kind of showing this scene to hint at, and Ezra and Thrawn are coming, which we already know. But I think that was like a big, like, hey, here they are. They're coming. Don't worry. We hear you. These characters are coming. I think that was the main in importance of the scene.
Yeah.
So it's so cool to see the N1 Starfighter, man.
Oh, man, it's awesome.
And we see the gauges. Yeah, the Mandalorian's trying to teach Grogu, I believe, actually a little later on in the episode, but that's a cool shot of the operator panel inside the cockpit there. And of course, we don't land on Tatooine. I'm disappointed we land on Navarro.
Don't worry, Tatooine will come. Tatooine will come.
Oh,
And so we get, Din and Grogu out of the N1 Starfighter. Grogu has a new pram that he's floating in. It's, I don't know, maybe made out of Beskar. No, it has a light in front of it. But yeah, they walk the streets of Navarro. And they roll up on a Mon Cal. Yeah, there was a lot of aliens. I kind of feels like they did take audience and fan suggestion that we need more aliens kind of walking around, because we do see quite a few. And we see an ebony-colored protocol droid, which we know those are the most expensive to buy.
I'm really hoping that Mon Calamari was Adam Savage. He got to fulfill his season 2 dream that never came through.
Interesting.
We'll
yeah,
that's true.
So yeah, we get a close-up of the statue that we got in a previous season of IG-11. And he's standing on a mound of stormtrooper helmets there, victorious, even though he blew up.
I didn't think that the top part of his body was the actual droid. I didn't think that was like actual IG-11. I thought it was just a statue. So when like they took half of it off, I was like, wait, what? Like that threw
It's
me
almost
off.
like the bomb was in his chest, but it's fine.
Yeah, right. So that's why it threw me off. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I saw the different finishes, and I was like, because normally like on statues you see like the really bronze areas of the places people are touching a lot, like the finger, or the knee, or whatever. And I saw his entire legs and one arm was very bronze, and then other parts like this really weathered, dingy copperish. I was like, that's odd that's where like people are touching. Like that's where most of the contact is his legs, but not like the drooping hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, I wonder what that is, and that was obviously paid off very soon after.
Yeah. Then we get the Predator handshake there, and Grief Karga has totally done a huge makeover there, and he's got droids carrying.
Yeah,
his
I know.
train to the
I
stage.
saw those, and I was like, "Ooh, interesting."
That was kind of funny.
And I think
I'm
this was
wondering,
the first time we saw those type of droids too.
Yeah, they're very prequel-ish in a way. But I was going to say, I'm wondering if that's Chris Bartlett in that protocol droid off to the right.
I think Chris. Okay, so I think he's in the. I think he's the droid that we see in the office, right? Because that's not the same droid right there.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a golden droid like 3PO.
Okay.
But we know that he played the teacher at the school that we saw. So we see that same teacher, so he might be that droid as well.
Be cool.
Coming up here. So yeah, they make it to the High Magistrate's office.
Get it right, okay.
On the high. Yeah.
It's Captain Jack Sparrow.
And he's like, come again? His name is Grogu. If you say so.
Yeah. I thought that.
And then, of course, this is the scene that we all got from the marketing where Grogu was force spinning in the chair. And Grief Karga throughout this whole period is offering him a job to stay and settle down on Navarro. Trying to show him a plot of land, live off the fat of the land. But, of course, Din Djarin still has in his mind that he wants to become a Mandalorian, a child of the Watch, and keep his helmet on forever and ever. And then we see the force grab of the orange Skittles there.
Yum.
And see, I think this is Chris Bartlett.
Yeah.
And I messaged him, and I asked him if that was him, but he hasn't returned my message yet. So.
Well, he was also at the premiere like yesterday too, right?
What? Well, I mean, everyone was on social media afterwards too. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is him. And of course, we get the pirates.
Not Hondo. Disappointed.
You wanted them to kill Hondo?
Well, I didn't think they would end up, killing. Well, first off, we know he wouldn't because we know where his story is, like way later on.
Yeah.
But I saw like the kind of jacket, and I was like, no way. And then I was like,
I like his little hat on his shoulder. I was like, hey, I know that hat.
Yeah. Yeah. I like how it's not just one species. Because for some of the gangs in the past that we've seen in Mando, it's just been one species. So I like how it's a Weequay, it's a Quarren, it's a Nikto. We've got different species. I think we've seen all of these from both seasons, right?
Yes.
I think
they just share the costumes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get a name drop here, Pirate King Gorian Shard, that we get to see later on.
Yeah, which I was not expecting that look. I don't think anyone was. But
yeah,
I also love
happy
how
with it.
Yeah, I also love how like we are reminded that this is a space type Western. Because that's what the show really is. And we get that feeling of them being in the Old West. And I love how the show still has that vibe, even though the show is constantly changing and adapting to all the other shows coming out, like with Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew and the Book of Boba Fett and everything. So it's still the same, but different at the same time.
Same but different.
And you just got him kind of leaning against a tree and being like, all right, if I have to step in, I'll step in. But I think he's got it.
Yeah. Very Western showdown.
Did you think they were actually going to shoot each other? Or did you think it was just going to be one of those like, it's fine, don't worry about it. We'll go on our way.
The latter. I didn't think there was going to be a shooting.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, there's actually shooting. Oh my gosh. Really awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, and Groot Karga is actually a crack shot. He shot the gun out of that guy's hand.
Well, he also probably learned his lesson from when he he probably wanted to get more skilled with the blaster after he had that shootout with Mando. So maybe he practiced more.
There's a moment in here, I think we can maybe catch it, where they address where Cara Dune is at.
Yes.
Which was very surprising.
I was not expecting that. I mean, I didn't think they were just going to kill her off, but I didn't think they would kind of say, hey, she's part of Special Forces again. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's we can bring her back some other time.
Hey,
one comic book later,
back, right?
Huh?
They can bring Ezra Miller back for something. Surely, right?
I'm excited for that press tour. That's gonna be a great press tour, man.
Well, I mean,
they'll put in
they don't
some
have
random
to have him
comic
on the
book.
press tour, but
Yeah,
I think the whole Ezra Miller stuff was happening while they were shooting too, or it happened after they shot The Flash. So I don't know, different situation, but yeah. So Din Djarin is saying, I need him back. He wants IG-11 specifically, which is a huge 180 turn from what we learned of him in season 1, where he just hated droids. He wouldn't even ride in a taxi that was piloted by a droid. So he wants his friend back. I guess he wants to hang out with Taika again. So that's what we learn.
Do we think that he will actually come back and voice IG-11 because he's so busy? So
he doesn't care as long as he's getting paid.
I reckon he will.
True Kiwi life.
Yeah, very Kiwi.
Yeah, Pedro can be on the set of The Last of Us and just do a voice recording.
I was gonna say
email
that man
it
has
over.
been absolutely going ham lately.
Yes.
Yeah, so we take the actual parts of IG-11 off, try and fix them on the table, kind of hot wire. IG-11, you can see kind of like a spine there, some vertebrae. It's interesting.
I love how Grogu's just on the table of just being like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And then Din Djarin does it. He brings back the IG droid. But if you notice there, his eyes were white for a second, and then they turn red, and he goes full
Terminator.
Hunting John Connor mode there.
We've never seen his eyes be white before. Even when he was a nurse droid, they were still red. So that was
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I have when he removes his helmet pulled up right now, and they were still red then. So they really used that just to really showcase the change because they couldn't besides the one thing that could actually change on his body, which is that.
Yeah. And then Grief Karga has a bust of himself in his office, and that protocol droid, or the droid, pushes the bust, crushes IG-11.
Yeah. I also loved how he also tossed Grogu over to him, like
Hey, yo,
just
catch.
like, here, catch, and
Jeez, look at that.
oh my goodness.
Catch.
Yeah, because he's just like, oh man.
I wonder how many models of Grogu they have for this season. Because it must have like close-up model, like model in bag, model in pram, and then you got like tossing model, one you can interact with. I feel like they would have so many.
It's probably more every season. They just keep making more and more and more.
And of course, we get the dialogue here that droid smiths are out there, and I immediately knew it was going to be the Anzellans that we saw in the trailer.
But we didn't see Babu Frick himself.
It's his voice, though.
Yes,
Right. Shirley Henderson voiced all the frickers.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh, I love him. I have many Babu Frick behind me. If you can zoom in to the background there.
I loved how they have like a small door and they have like a small garage, and then you kind of zoom on. Like
how did you get in there?
How did he get in there? That's my question. That's a Winnie the Pooh scenario if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And of course, directed by Rick Famuyiwa, he sticks Mando in another very tight enclosed space, like he did in Chapter 2 on the Sandcrawler, next to the Jawas.
It's probably my favorite Grogu interaction of this episode.
Yeah.
Again, I love the set design. Like it's so detailed.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I would love to see these things in like Galaxy's Edge, where it's like just like you see like the little door and you could hear behind the door it's people like them working on stuff. That'd be cool.
They can add it at Droid Depot. They could totally.
That would be cool. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, like that scene was
like
so.
Little doors like every little bit.
Yeah.
This was one of the few episodes it was hard for me to not directly notice that they were filming on the volume. Like it felt like all the sets were like, especially all the scenes in Navarro on the streets, they felt much more wide and expansive, and we got many different locations on the Navarro streets. Or like season 1, you can kind of see like, oh, we're shooting on this part of Navarro, this part of Navarro. It's much more easy to tell that they were filming it on the volume.
I felt it was most obvious at Bo-Katan's castle when he first pulls up there. I felt like that was the worst offender for the episode.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So Din Djarin's given the information that he needs to find a chip, I believe, to bring back IG-11 the way he was as the nurse droid. But he makes a detour to this planet, and this is where Din Djarin kind of trains Grogu in the ways of the Mandalorian.
Do we think that we'll end up getting Grogu's first word this season?
Dad.
This is the way. What?
I want his first few words, and I want them to come out of order.
Yeah, that'd be so good.
That would be great.
But we know that Yaddle doesn't speak like that, so
I don't care that Yaddle speaks normally. I want Grogu to speak incorrectly.
I don't
As
care.
a nod to Yoda, or do you want him to speak permanently like Yoda?
I think there's just enough mystery around like why Yoda speaks that way. I think having Grogu speak similarly would be enough like tantalizing information to have us questioning for a good few years.
We know that he could speak through the Force. Like, do you technically have to be Force sensitive to hear that? Because I think that they would do something where they would be like, Grogu has a deep connection with Mando, and he like is now allowed to be able to hear him, and he speaks for him sometimes instead of him always speaking. Like,
could you imagine him just like kind of taking a nap, and then all of a sudden like he just hears this voice in his head, and then he's like, what? And then he's like, dude, I'm hungry. And he's like, what?
Hey, yo, can I get a glass of water? You're asleep, man.
So yeah, we get pirates showing up. The same guy
Yeah,
that
I
Greef
love
Karga
this.
left alive. And yeah, this is the footage that we saw at
Word.
the Lucasfilm panel at Celebration.
Avast.
I was not a so again, they definitely jam-packed this episode. Even though it was short, there was a lot happening, but I think it was done in a way where it didn't feel rushed.
I agree. Fast
yeah.
and intense, but not rushed.
Yep.
And I also loved how we got a bunch of different action shots of the Naboo starfighter that we haven't seen really since the Phantom Menace, like of it, like doing flips and stuff like that. That definitely was something we haven't seen since. That
Yeah,
movie.
there were some shots where it almost seemed like it was jumping from rock to rock almost.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Rick
Like right
really
here,
likes his
rock to rock.
kind of horror-esque Mando episodes. So this was kind of a fun nod to that.
I don't think we've seen these type of pirate ships before either.
Not the fighters, but
No.
the giant
Cruiser.
ship, the cruiser. If we could go back to look at it, that actually looks a lot like an Eclipse class dreadnought, Eclipse class Imperial dreadnought.
Yeah.
Well,
A lot.
because I saw like the tip of the ship, and I feel like
man.
we've seen that before. I just can't
Yep,
think of where.
it's the Eclipse class Legends dreadnought. That's the
oh,
ship
okay.
that
Okay.
has that kind of somewhat hammerhead look to it, but
Yeah.
for like with an Imperial triangle in front.
Yeah. Because
I love how the turrets are manned as well, like the old clone transports.
Yep. Because what? Yeah, because it should be around this corner, right? Okay. Oh, darn it.
Such a quick shot.
Go frame by frame.
Go.
Yeah, Disney Plus doesn't let
and-
us.
Stop.
Gravis, enhance.
Darn.
Oh,
So okay, so you said that ship's from Legends, right?
yep, it is a Legends only ship. The
Now-
Eclipse dreadnought has
Okay,
never appeared.
I think that's the best that we'll get. Okay. Do you think we'll see? Do you think that's the last of?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
all right.
I would
Oh,
not
oh.
spend this much
The
of a
Last of Us?
budget setting up this random like pirate captain to be like, and he's gone.
Can't wait for the stop to be on Star Tours. Don't hold your breath. They haven't added like
That would be cool.
they
be
haven't
cool.
added anything since Rise of Skywalker, which I think if they added planets,
because they should do something with Mando, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't doubt that they'll end up doing like a Mandalore thing.
No, I
eventually.
can't. The paint job also reminds me a little bit of Saw Gerrera's X-wing fighters and his headhunters. I think they're all headhunters in Legend in the Fantasy Flight game. But like kind of like the black and white striping kind of reminded me of kind of that insurgency pirate design.
Nice.
okay, we can finally talk about the King Pirate Swamp
Baby
thing.
Jones.
Yeah, because of like I was not expecting that design. I don't think we know the species name or anything yet. How do we feel about Captain Davy Jones here?
Swamp Thing.
Yeah, like just like
I
that's
love
a very
it. It's
interesting
a
design.
new creature, new design. It looks like fun. I can't wait to see more of this because I would love to know some more history on who these people are, why they're doing their thing, and whoever this guy really is. I'd love to see it.
For me, it felt like something sort of straight out of the Clone Wars TV show, sort of on the earlier seasons. Whenever we'd get a new separatist general or something, and there'd just be this sort of campy out there villain, and I'm just getting vibes of that, especially his scream at the end, closing in on his face. Just sort of brought me back to that, and I'm most excited for this guy.
Warthog Man.
Yeah, it felt like a Mos Eisley canteen, like a classic episode 4. Like, we don't have the money to make these elaborate aliens. Let's just get a Party City gorilla mask and duct tape on vine swamp stuff and call it a day.
Never trust a pirate. He just hits the boosters. That's an awesome shot. Got some teeth there. And then we go to another planet. I think the Mandalorian does mention the name of the planet, which was kind of interesting. This is... What's the name?
Something, I believe it starts with a C or a K. Or
Okay.
Kalevala. Yeah, is this in canon? Have you ever heard of this? before?
Kalevala.
Oh, Kalevala. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I got stuff blocking the name in front of me.
That sounds familiar.
Kalevala is a 19th century work of epic poetry, apparently, if case that sounds familiar to
Interesting.
you. But it actually did appear in Legends, in the Mandalore sector. So it already was something that existed.
Now, does this castle exist in Legends or no?
Actually, Kalevala has history with the Death Watch from the Clone Wars.
Okay, there you go.
The Death Watch did a bombing on Kalevala, and they killed Deputy Minister Jarek. So it has had some prevalence in 2 episodes of the Clone Wars by mentioned in Voyage of Temptation and Duchess of Mandalore.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, you look at the castle. The front of the castle looks like the visor of a helmet.
Oh, okay.
This is the only time that we've had this castle, though.
Now that droid looks awesome because it looks like it's wearing like the Mandalorian armor, but we know it. I mean, it could be armor. I don't think it's armor. But the droid build is very interesting. I can already see Hunter just getting ready to build that in his garage.
That's going to be his new custom Mando chest plate.
Yeah.
Torso.
Exactly.
Yeah, my question is, how does Grogu get out of the N1 starfighter into the pram and then come out?
Good point, because the engine is now where Aspects used to be sucked up directly under the port, but now Mando has this giant third engine pod right under there.
Yeah.
I was also,
rebuild.
You've also got that vent system in there too that they probably added for him, because I wasn't expecting him to be in there and then like crawl like into Mando's lap when he saw the Purgle.
Exactly. So, I think we all initially thought that he was just stuck in that like droid area.
Now, David, do you think that the ship that they used on this was the same one that we saw at the Mandalorian experience?
Yes, it's the exact same one.
Yeah, because I've seen that ship in person, guys. I'm telling you what, I was crying. I saw that. It was
huge in person.
Yeah, and
it's kind of surprising how large it was.
And they had Grogu would just kind of like, they actually had like a working Grogu where he would kind of go around the room, and then like every like 10 minutes he would just wave in like to like a different person.
Yeah, they had a puppeteer over in the corner, which was really fun.
Oh, it was so cool. It was
I think they had a puppeteer working that and working the Bantha as well.
Yes, that Bantha was awesome.
Yeah, they had like 3 dudes in that Bantha.
Yeah,
sweating it out.
That's one way to make a paycheck.
Yeah.
So the scene is from the trailer.
We've got this giant castle. It's really weird just seeing one person just sitting there, and she's owning that throne. Like she's got her like leg, just kind of crossed over it, like kind of like, hey, this is my kingdom. How can I help you? I really don't want to help you, but how can I?
I mean,
she's got that vibe going to her.
I get the opposite feeling from that. It's kind of more like for me at least, it's like a defeated look. Like, welcome. Hey, as you can see, just me here, just chilling. Can't really do much about it. All of our sects are, kind of broken off. So, I mean, I still don't have the Darksaber. Obviously you do, but cool, whatever. What do you need?
I kind of think that this is all part of her plan, and she's just posturing here. She's just kind of waiting for all this to kind of go down, because she knows how the Children of the Watch work. She knows that Din Djarin needs to go bathe, go back to Mandalore. She can get back to Mandalore, hopefully in the next episode, and maybe kill Din Djarin, attempt to kill him.
We see them working together in the trailers. And I think we see them fighting at one point.
An act,
Yeah. I just don't. Yeah. I mean, I just think the whole thing is just very, very suspicious, like of just the way that she talks in the scene, and you can definitely see that like she's kind of tricked him of being like, hey, I'm kind of your ally, but I'm like, I'm still mad at you, or the I'm the antagonist. I will kill you for the dark saber so I can lead my people.
And look at that mural. Look at that mural up there as
awesome.
well.
I love the set design for this.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the entrance to Doc Ondor's and Galaxy's Edge a little bit.
With the background from Palpatine's office.
Yes.
Yep, that too. So yeah, huge castle, one chair, no TV, no smartphone, nothing entertaining you.
Well, she probably doesn't have any Wi-Fi. Yeah,
iconic helmet there.
Something that a lot of people are talking about is her new wig that they give her for this season.
I posted about that.
Yeah, it definitely looks more like her hairstyle that she had in Rebels and the Clone Wars. It definitely looks more of that hairstyle than what she got in season 2.
I think it looks a lot better than the season 2 wig.
Yeah, agreed.
So we hear more again about the living waters, going back to the mines. There's nothing there. Mandalore was destroyed. And that's the episode. And of course, we get the tradition of the art of the episode right afterwards. And it looks more like a snapping turtle more than an alligator in the production art.
Something that Josh and I were talking about earlier, not Tolkien Josh, but additional Josh. We were talking about how you could tell that Ludwig did not really do the music for this one.
You could tell. I didn't think you really could. We all knew it was Joseph Shirley, but
I actually didn't know that. I was under the impression it was still Ludwig. But when all the pirates get shot, there's this one musical cue that was straight out of the original trilogy, and I was like, okay, Ludwig didn't do this.
Yeah.
So I was watching through the credits, specifically looking for that text right there. I was like, oh, okay, I was right. Dang.
Yeah.
So I think his work is extremely important, just in the introduction of new themes that kind of fit this universe so well.
That's a great shot of that cruiser. That's sick.
Yeah.
Do we know who voiced the Pirate King?
Yeah, I just saw it. It's an English actor producer. Let me find that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
it's about to come up here in the credits.
Because when I first heard his voice, it sounded very, very familiar.
I'm gonna mispronounce this. So I'm just gonna type it in the chat, and another person can mispronounce it.
Okay.
We're about to see it here in the credits.
Nonso.
Brother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You
A brother from another mother.
Can't believe you do that.
Probably the person that starters probably shouldn't be trying to pronounce something.
Let's see. You might know the name that I'm not going to pronounce as Zaro Zohan Doxos in Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, pronounce that.
Yeah, Nonzo and
Nosy.
Yeah.
Tommy Jeopard in Netflix's Sweet Tooth. Oh, Ola Abisanya on Apple TV's Ted Lasso. Potentially including upcoming season 3. So he was on
I think most people know him from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chris Bartlett played the copper droid, it says right here.
Okay.
So the droid that you see that comes out in front of the school. And that school might have a part to play in Skeleton Crew as well.
Carrie Jones came back, and there's also Misty. She's back
Rohan
as well. Awesome. That's so cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Again, I thought this episode was fantastic. I'm excited for next week. Do we think we're going to Tatooine, or do we think we're going straight to Mandalore?
Go to Mandalore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Title? I can't seem to remember.
I mean, honestly, I'm trying to put this into existence. I just want a shot of where he's flying into Tatooine, and we just see Max Rebo walking on the streets.
Ugh.
That's or if just him, just kind of in the marketplace, just something with Max Rebo where he's just there and there's confirmation that he's alive. I know that he's alive in my heart, but I just want it to see it on screen.
If they go ahead and they confirm that he's dead, I mean, I would be the happiest man on earth. Like, imagine if like they go back to like Tatooine, right? And they've got like all these like statues of people, and then it's got like Max Rebo's statue there.
Poster of his band, and it's like remember Max.
Yeah, exactly.
I would,
and then Mando can take the torso and try to revive him.
I would probably turn off the episode for like an hour, and then I would like go back to watch.
Jeez.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that's the episode, Chapter 17, The Apostate.
There you go. And we got next week's episode, which is 42 minutes.
Yeah, this just dropped right before we started recording episode 2. The Minds of Mandalore runs for about 42 minutes. So
that's
37 minutes of actual footage.
Yeah.
So this season feels like it's going to focus on the history and the religious aspect of the Mandalorian way. So what do you guys think of that currently? I wonder if they'll be like, this is the history, this is where we're from, but you can kind of choose your own destiny kind of feel.
I want a flashback of like Tar Vizsla, like actually, of actually kind of building his lightsaber and just something like that, because we've only got kind of story visuals of Tar Vizsla. I know there was like the shadow thing in Rebels, and then there was also like the kind of mention of him in the Clone Wars, but seeing a live action version of him, maybe of him building his lightsaber and his journey of being a Jedi or something, or just even showing the planet Mandalore thousands of years ago, just something like that. I think that would, be great.
Yeah, to me, that's another slam dunk idea for a movie.
Yep.
I mean, we need to go back and see, because that's a very key point in Star Wars history, especially even more now that we have a Mandalorian TV show. You could draw a lot of people and maybe tie it into the Old Republic stuff as well if you want to do something with that. And hopefully we get some type of announcement in London at Celebration. Hopefully we're in the actual room where that happens.
I will find a way. I'm telling you right now. I am not. Don't start with me because of we all just know how I feel about the whole lottery thing. But yeah, no, I am. I'm excited for London. I'm not sure. David, have we told a lot of people yet or no?
About what?
About Hayden
going to London? I think we say it every episode.
Well, yeah, no. So David and I are gonna be doing a photo op with Hayden.
That.
Yeah. We're doing a photo op with Hayden and Ewan over at Celebration, and including with Andy Serkis. So I'm so pumped for that.
Yeah, I've never met Hayden. Colin's never met Ewan, and neither of us have met Andy Serkis. So yeah, that's nuts. It's bonkers.
Yeah, I'm so pumped. I think just with that happening, all the news happening for Star Wars Celebration, and with all the new episodes of Mando, I know on the way there on April 5th, because that's when we have our takeoff. I believe episode 5 will be coming out for I think it will be episode 6 of the Mandalorian will be coming out as we're going on our way to London, and then on the 12th, yes. So and then episode 7 will be coming out on the day that we get back. Then I think something that the rumor is there's the potential of them showing the last 2 episodes of The Mandalorian over at Celebration in London to those who go to the panel. Something in the lines of kind of what they did for people who went to the Lucasfilm panel, and they were like, hey, here's the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi, which that was an awesome experience, because I think that's one of the only times that I'm going to be able to go to a red carpet premiere. So that was fantastic, and I hope they do something like that in London again.
I don't know if I could see them dropping the last 2 episodes of a season, especially if last season ended on Luke Skywalker and everything that went into keeping that under wraps.
I could see them just doing it for the people going to that panel.
Maybe. I mean, that's what for Obi-Wan. The reason they released the 2 episodes early is because they showed those 2 episodes early, and some dude recorded it and put it out on the internet. And they're like, well, rumor has it that the recording did get out, and rumor has it they were like, we should just release the episodes because everyone's just going to be able to see it now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going to want to risk showcasing, especially the last 2 episodes of the season 3 of The Mandalorian, with everything that could happen with that.
Maybe just episode 7 then, the penultimate episode. Yeah, because Celebration ends on the 10th, I believe, right?
Yeah, maybe episode 7. I could see that, but I can definitely not see them doing episode 8.
Yeah.
And I got a feeling that episode 8 will leave on a cliffhanger of some sorts. I just have this feeling because they already know what season 4 is going to be. It's already written. The story is there. And I think that when the season 4 comes out, they won't skip a beat. Like it'll be like, hey, this is where we left off. Here we go. It's not going to be, hey, what's this story going to be about? It's going to be, they know exactly what it's going to be. And then we'll have Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew happening, at some point this year to kind of fill in that anticipation, of season 4 of The Mandalorian. Yeah.
Yep. It's next month, man.
Crazy.
Month.
Crazy.
So, anyone else have any thoughts on this episode before we leave?
It was good, and it's hyping up a lot more. Can't wait to see more and where they go with it. I like how they're going very religious with this first episode, and I like the new titles for the next couple of episodes. So I'm glad that we're actually going to start seeing lore for the Mandalorians on screen or live action, so that we can have more of your average TV show or Star Wars fans be able to understand more that goes into being a Mandalorian.
I agree.
Yeah. Also, if you don't want any spoilers, be careful. Don't go on Twitter. Don't search them out because apparently they are out there from people that got to see the second chapter in season 3. So beware.
Okay.
Pedro Pascal did low-key leak something, and that's going online.
It was very vague. But
yeah, but that can spark your imagination very quick. So tune in for because in an hour or so we're about to do our next breakdown for the Bad Batch, and they definitely picked up their game this week, and I think it's because they knew the premiere of The Mandalorian was coming out, because I was surprised of how plot driven the episode was. So stay tuned for that.
Right.
Yeah,
awesome. For additional Josh, Ben, Colin, my name's David. May the force be with you
Always.